Keith Haring, American graffiti and pop artist. Drawing is still basically the same as it has been since prehistoric times. It brings together man and the world. It lives through magic. Keith Haring. Keith Haring is an American graffiti artist, sculptor, and painter who was born and raised in Reading, Pennsylvania in 1958. Haring's father, Alan Haring, was an amateur cartoonist as well as an engineer. At an early age, Haring became interested in art, spending time with his father creating cartoons. He studied commercial art in 1976 for 2 years after high school, but then quit, deciding to concentrate on his own art. After commercial art, Haring was exposed to artists such as Jean Dubuffet, Jackson Pollock, and Mark Tobey when he was employed at the Pittsburgh Center for the Arts. The time he spent working at the museum and other influences gave Haring confidence to create larger paintings of cartoon-like images, which he liked to produce. Another artist named Christo Vladimir Jobachev, who created large installation art, introduced him to the possibilities of involving the public with his art, and so Haring decided to pursue painting at the School of Visual Arts in New York. While in New York, Keith Haring began painting white chalk drawings on large black pieces of paper in advertising spaces on the subway. He started making subway drawings every day. This gave him media attention, and he was featured on the news and in magazines. Haring created his art pieces using bright, saturated colors and outlined characters and scenes in bold, thick black lines. His art was mostly two-dimensional in a classic style of the pop art movement, similar to the style of Andy Warhol and other artists during that time. He was also considered both a graffiti artist and advocated for social change through his art. Most of his art featured a radiant heart love motif, such as his work Untitled in 1982. In his first show, he painted all of the walls of his art and then put up his paintings and sculptures around it. It was a huge success. Building off of that success, Haring operated a store called The Pop Shop, where he sold posters, buttons, and t-shirts. In 1988, Keith became ill with an autoimmune disease called AIDS, which was incurable at the time. Even though Keith knew his life was being cut short, he still continued to produce art, making posters to tell people about his illness and giving money to doctors to search for a cure, until his death on February 6, 1990, at the age of 31, in New York, New York. Keith Haring, American graffiti and pop artist. Let's take a look at some of his art.